Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. How low might the price of XRP go if indeed we do see the FTX-created crypto contagion spread further? What if Bitcoin drops further than we've already seen to this point? Is it possible Bitcoin goes below $15,000, which we haven't seen yet? What does that mean for the price of XRP? Well, I want to share with you some thoughts on that, some of my own as well as thoughts from some individuals who happen to be pretty well known in the space in terms of what they're anticipating. Many are anticipating that we are going to see worse, and even just set aside technical analysis. Just looking at the fact that I don't think we've seen much of the spreading of the crypto contagion to this point. It's just been a couple weeks so far since FTX collapsed. That makes me think that the worst is yet to be seen. Now, and you know me, I'm not like a doomsday type of guy, and even if that happens, like, I'll just happily buy more crypto. So I'm not trying to like scare people. I'm just giving you my personal, unprofessional opinion as far as, you know, to what degree it would matter and how I personally would respond. But, and if we don't, we don't. Fine. If we don't, super duper, we'll just take off from here at some point because markets always find bottoms. But as far as XRP's performance, I want to share with you some real world numbers just so you can get an idea of how extremely volatile XRP is. And even when you see the downside to the negative, you know, look, XRP's been around a decade now. It's never meant that it's dead, obviously, because it's still very well alive and continuing to get adopted at a blistering pace, frankly, thanks to adoption from people the world over, all sorts of developers building interesting use cases around XRP and the XRP ledger. That's only increasing. So I think ultimately the market's going to bottom, whether we see more crypto contagion spread or not, and XRP is just going to rocket out of here at some point. But I'm a realist here, and so I do want to share with you some I think you'll find the numbers interesting, some real world numbers as far as what we've seen. And it's not all bad, honestly. Like this is not stuff that personally scares me, but I think that people should be aware of it, and then that way you can make your own informed decisions, you know. Because, you know, what I think is the worst thing is when people make important financial decisions for themselves based on emotion rather than facts, logic, and data. That's all I'm saying there. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, note that at the time I'm recording this, XRP's at 39 cents, and Bitcoin's at $16,508. As I pointed out in my very last tepid gem, because there are no more hot jams in this environment. No. And there are no Lambos to be had for anybody. You're also not allowed to have fun. Quit smiling out there. Even in this environment, I'll tell you though, and even with, as I reported in my last video, BlockFi filing for bankruptcy literally today, the market didn't bat an eye. But the reason they didn't bat an eye is because we've been talking about BlockFi potentially going bankrupt for a couple weeks. I think that fear was already priced in. I think it's pretty clear, as demonstrated by the fact that the contagion officially spread today, and then people are just like, yeah, okay, well, whatever. That's like new news technically, but we've been talking about it for 2 weeks, so didn't bat an eye. But you just wait for the contagion to spread when some firm collapse that isn't even on anyone's radar necessarily. And also, even though like Digital Currency Group and Genesis is on the radar in terms of, it sounds like Genesis is pretty well insolvent, and that's like a prime broker for the entire world of crypto and the institutional side especially. That one makes me wonder. So fine, BlockFi, I get it, smaller player compared to Genesis. With how crucial Genesis is, it does make me wonder, even though that's like a known threat, to what degree is that baked in? Maybe it is to some degree, but it makes me wonder, and I don't pretend to have the answer, but it does make me wonder if that one goes under, whew, I mean, exchange after exchange after exchange, and hedge fund after hedge fund after hedge fund in the world of crypto relying on Genesis, and so like that would be much bigger than just BlockFi filing for bankruptcy. Because think about this too, like, yeah, even if that news breaks, if it does happen, and not that I want it to, of course, I'm just saying, if it does come to pass, wait till the rest of the fallout is made known as a result of that, and all of the exchanges and all the hedge funds that are negatively impacted and possibly insolvent as a result. That's now that, because I don't think the degree to which that is going to impact the space is very well known. Now, as far as XRP specifically, just consider this. Because crypto's volatile. I know you don't need to tell you that, but do you realize how volatile XRP has been from its all-time high to its lowest price point since then? Do you know what it is? I mean, I know you're probably aware it's pretty severe. But XRP, from its all-time high, according to Live Coin Watch of, I believe here, let's pull it, was $3.92. Yeah, that's okay. So that's the number I used. From its all-time high of $3.92 down to its low of 11 cents, depending on which exchange you're looking at, and that occurred in March of 2020 with all the pandemic stuff. That's a drop in price of XRP of just over 97%. That already happened. I already lived through that. That doesn't scare me. That had nothing to do with long-term viability of XRP. I knew that, obviously, and it's also been way higher since it bottomed out at 11 cents. In fact, if you look at where XRP bottomed out at 11 cents, and then considering its greatest high since then, which I still think is suppressed because of the SEC, we didn't see a new all-time high. I think there's a good chance we would have if not for the SEC, but still, even so, XRP hit an all-time high right at $2. I actually saw $2 even on Live Coin Watch. So it depends on where the data is pulled from. You can get slightly different numbers depending on your source and the way that they're tabulating the information. But I saw that. I tweeted about it. $2 XRP from 11 cents to $2. Now, that's an increase of just a hair over 1,718%. So down 97%, but then up 1,718%. And for me, I think my average buy price, and I didn't actually calculate it, but just kind of running some mental math, I think my average buy price for XRP after dollar cost averaging for years was about 25 cents. So for me, even that was up over, or somewhere in the neighborhood of like 700%. And I still didn't sell because here's the deal. And I still firmly believe this is going to happen. And if I'm wrong, fine, I'll go down with the ship and I'll ride this bitch to zero like I always say. But my bet is still the same as it's been since early 2018 after the XRP bubble popped, when it was close to $4. I could see that we were in bear territory. I didn't know how long it would take. I assumed years for XRP to recover along with crypto markets because that's how these things go. But my bet then is the same as it is now, that either this thing goes to zero, in which case, womp womp, I lose everything, which I guess is possible, but it's either that's going to happen or at some unknown point in the future, XRP is going to hit an all-time high. And I'm still betting on that one. I still firmly believe that because all of this crazy volatility has nothing to do with how useful XRP is, or almost nothing. I mean, some people like me are, happy to, bet a certain amount of money on this effectively because I do understand the utility. But just in a general sense, XRP is moving in tandem with the rest of the market. So most of what's happening doesn't really have a whole lot to do with utility. So, it's going to come. I firmly believe that. And so if you're wondering, like, how low can XRP go? Well, how low is Bitcoin going to go? And that's the million-dollar question at this point. And I don't know. I mean, I'm going to share with you perspective as we get a little bit further into the video from some individuals who are talking about, $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 maybe for Bitcoin. And I don't get in the price prediction game, but I'll tell you, even if they're right, then what are we looking at for XRP if it moves down in kind, which it very well may? You'd see 20-something cent XRP again, so I'm going to be, a break even or loss again in XRP potentially? I'll tell you what, if that happens, you know what my response is going to be? Not only that, I'll see that if that happens and Bitcoin leads us, the whole market's down, I'll just buy a bunch more stuff. Because eventually, we get the hell out of bottoms. We do, like, crypto's not going to zero, my friends. I firmly believe that. And so I tweeted out this. Bitcoin bottomed on December 15th, 2018, around $3,200. At that time, many people were screaming that it would go much lower, even down to $1,000. I don't know where the bottom is, but I do know that when we get there, hysterical people will be telling you it's going much lower. And that is going to happen. There will always be the people, because whatever the direction is going, there's always going to be a ton of noisy people that think, see, it's just going to keep doing this. And sometimes they're right, but eventually they're wrong, because eventually markets find a bottom. And so that's why for me, even though I recently bought, within the last couple weeks, a bunch of crypto, I talked about it when I did that, I understand that there's a real serious chance that could be worth less than when I purchased it in the future, especially if the contagion spreads. That's not going to freak me out. because I already think I'm probably buying pretty close to the bottom. And even if it goes way lower, even if it does, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to give a crap. I'm just going to buy more, because I firmly believe that there will be a market bottom and things will rebound. That's just how I strongly feel. And that's how it's always been true to this point in 13 years. And stock market, it's true in the stock market, even though the stock market is a much more mature mature environment, let's say, and way less volatile. But markets find bottoms. That's the point I'm getting at here. And then there was a very popular analyst, smart contractor with 214,000 followers, who wrote, "Losing it all on FTX is going to hit so much different in a year or two time, when we all realize this was the bottom. Had to inject fresh fiat from bank because I downright refused to be forced seller at the bottom." Yeah, and so there you go. I appreciate the mindset, because, in the middle of December of 2018, we were at the bottom, but nobody knew that for sure. There were people that were saying, this looks like the bottom, but we didn't know for sure. So even if things go lower here, that's why I'm like, that's why it's like, even how low can XRP go? I'm like, in the end, it doesn't matter, but I still want to talk about it, to share ideas. But it's not, the answer is I don't care. I care enough that I'm going to follow it because I'm interested in XRP, but not in terms of I'm going to have an emotional response and think, oh my God, the world's falling apart. And that way, no, I don't care. All right. Now, Credible Crypto chart analyst, who now has 336,000 followers all up on Twitters, he retweeted that from Smart Contractor and wrote the following: 100%, a pretty brutal ending to a major correction. In 2018, it was the $6,000 breakdown after a 9-month sideways draw. In March, it was the COVID crash, ending with the BitMEX liquidation debacle, and now with the collapse of Three Arrows Capital / FTX. Always something else, but this is what bottoms are made of. And he's spot on right there. I couldn't agree more. And in a separate tweet, he wrote, "The market cap of the space at this time is less than $1 trillion United States dollars. Global equities have a market cap of over 100 trillion United States dollars. The money can come from a lot of places. People still don't realize how small this space is." Exactly. So if you're worried about where money's going to come from, people get interested and then rallies start again, and then new people jump in on top of that. You see similar human behavior in stocks also. And then you get euphoria and all that crap, and then you get this multiplier effect. It doesn't take that much money coming in to have crazy multiplier effects in crypto, because there's not much money in crypto. And consider this too. At the time I'm recording this, the market cap for the asset class is, according to Live Coin Watch, $858 billion. I would like to note that that was roughly the all-time high for the crypto market cap at the end of 2017, or maybe early 2018 technically, but that whole bull run, that was the top. Is very short-lived. And now we've got the sky, which is allegedly falling, according to many in the crypto space, and we still have this market cap of 800. Now it's 859 billion, according to Live Coin Watch. $859 billion. So it goes here, there. I'm like, you know what I'm saying here? And then there was this from the Daily Hodl. On-chain analyst Willy Woo says Bitcoin getting close to max pain levels. Here's how low Bitcoin could go. Popular on-chain analyst Willy Woo has a max pain model for Bitcoin that suggests a floor price for Bitcoin at the bottom of its bear market. Woo tells his 1 million Twitter followers that he's estimating a Bitcoin bottom by looking at where Bitcoin's price would be if 58% to 61% of all coins would be below the price of purchase or at a loss. Quote, "Bitcoin bottom is getting close under the max pain model. Historically, Bitcoin price reaches macro cycle bottoms when 58% to 61% of coins are underwater." And he shared a chart for those of you that care to look. And if you look at the chart also, the Daily Hodl notes that if you looked at a zoom-in view of the chart, the model appears to be suggesting that Bitcoin can still drop to around the $12,000 price range. So even if we see that again, so XRP would probably move in kind, and it's probably going to be somewhat short-lived, if that's the actual bottom anyway. And eventually, you get some sideways movement, and then you get some upside movement, and eventually, whether it's a year after that or whatever the hell it is, you end up getting back to euphoria. That's just how this has always worked. It's not like people are going to throw away what is actually valuable in the world of crypto. You just got to kind of expunge the crap that's not. And so look, I don't know if the idea of Bitcoin getting to 12,000, I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't ever pretend to know what's going to happen. What I'm saying is I'm making my bets because like, it's such a simplistic view in investing, but my gosh, it's so stress-free for me. Because my bet is either it goes to 0, it's basically a binary bet, or it's worth way more in the future, and the stuff that happens in between doesn't particularly matter to me, other than it's interesting because I have money invested, so I'm happy to talk about it, because that part's fun. But in terms of emotional responses with stuff going on, no, absolutely not. Now look at this headline from the Daily Huddle. Crypto veteran Bobby Lee reveals his Bitcoin price floor. It says bad actors of industry should be flushed out. Crypto industry veteran Bobby Lee says that bad actors ignorant of regulation have to be expunged from the market. In a new interview with Bloomberg Markets Asia on Yahoo Finance, Lee, co-founder of Hong Kong-based crypto exchange BTCC, reveals what price he expects Bitcoin to bottom out at the end of the bear market, and here's a quote. Bitcoin has crashed down to below $16,000. Previously, I've said that it will probably go to $15,000. Given the magnitude of the FTX blowup, it could go down to $13,000 or even touch $10,000. That's going to be a very, very drastic crash. There has to be more bad news to come out. As we know in the market, in the last week or so, we're looking at the troubles of Genesis, one of the prime brokers in the crypto market. So if something bad happens with that, or if something bad happens with the USDT stablecoin, then could see much worse prices coming up in a few weeks, end quote. Yeah, and so that is a fair warning. If that happens, I'm telling you, like, the contagion's a real thing. It's a very real thing, and it's going to scare the hell out of people if it continues to spread. I just don't see how it doesn't. And I'll be happy to be wrong. Like, if it doesn't spread, okay, fine, cool. But I don't know how it doesn't. Like, because if you just understand how big Genesis is, I mean, I would read up, but I've reported a bit on it on the channel here. If Genesis is truly insolvent, and it looks like Genesis is in serious trouble, I don't know how this isn't a way, way, way bigger deal. So it doesn't, and look, I think most people that were going to get flushed out of the market, perhaps they're already out anyway. But, you know, a lot of people, you know, given sufficient pressure, they're going to start to feel different. I don't know. You guys are just going to have to tell me what you think in terms of, are we actually going to see lower prices? If so, how though? You know, anybody's speculation is totally fair at this point, but I think it's going to be worse. Like, that's my bet. I'll just bet that, just in a general sense. I don't want to put a dollar figure on it, but how could we not see another market move down? I mean, okay, maybe if I'm placing a bet right now just for fun, I'm thinking things get worse. And I'm not saying that to scare people, and I could be wrong, I admit that, but I'll be happy to buy more. If I'm right and my suspicion is correct, my hunch is correct, and we do see lower because of the contagion, yeah, I'll be fine with that. My net worth will go down, and no, oh, too bad, so sad. Well, I'm going to be an adult about it, and I'm just going to buy more stuff because I'll understand that it's an emotional thing, and markets get flushed out. That's just kind of what happens, especially with you know, a capitulation event like this. So yeah, you better believe. I personally, I'll be making moves if that happens. I have plenty of capital sitting on the sideline just in case it does. And if it doesn't, well, okay, at least got to make a couple larger purchases a couple weeks or so ago when FTX collapsed, so I'll take that. All right, I'll stop yammering on, but please let me know what you all think about this. But that's in a general sense how I'm approaching this, and I'm just like an optimist. Like, even if price goes down, even though that's what I'm saying I think is likely to happen, I'm still like an optimist for this space. This isn't some sort of horrendously scary thing for me. I mean, we already saw XRP drop 97% over that from the top to the bottom. And what, did that mean XRP was over? Well, some people said yes, and then it increased 1,718%. And I get it, it's back down a bit since then, quite a lot since then. But so is all crypto. So that's what I'm saying. If you fast forward like 5 or 10 years, however long it takes, we'll see if XRP is worth a fortune or it's worth zero. But my point in saying that is that all the price action that happens in between won't have mattered at that point, which is why, for me, hanging on and just doing nothing through all the tumult, all the craziness, all the crypto contagions, to me, that's the best thing for me specifically. You do what's right for you. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'll wrap up here. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon family sedan.